And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with Tom Vasel.
Kenakalan!
Yeah, today we're taking a look at...
Kenakalan.
Is it Kenakalan or Kenakalan? Or, well, whatever. It's a game from New Zealand and has art from New Zealand. Some really nice artwork from the game. This is a game in which you're trying to collect sets of cards, similar but not exactly like Rummy. Let me show you. At the beginning of the game, each player takes a touring company. This one here is the Last Resort, or maybe you have Alan's Touring, or Fly By Night, or the Bucket List. And each of these depends on how many players that you have in the game. For example, you can see this one here says for 2 or 3 players. So if you're playing with 4 or 5 players, you'll flip it to the other side. And because I'm going to start here with the goal of the game here is to complete tours. And so what you're trying to do is you're trying to lay down cards in front of you that match, that are all the same color and are a certain number. You need one group of 3, one group of 4, one group of 5. So if I have a group of 5 laid out in front of me, a group of 3, and a group of 4, 3 greens and a wild, then I will win the game. But how do you do so is the question. Well, that is because players are going to have actions on their turn, and many of those actions are going to be using this display here. One of the actions that you can do in your turn is simply take the top card of the deck and add that card to your hand. Now, at the beginning of the game, players are going to start with 3 cards, but they're going to try to get more of those as the game progresses. When you draw a bad monkey, it says ha, because you have to discard half your hand rounded down. If you have fewer than 6 cards in your hand, then you'll pass it to the next person clockwise, and it will keep going around the table till either it hits somebody or passes everyone. Or this guy might steal a wild card from your store, and if you don't have any wilds, you pass them on. So bad monkeys, when you draw them, they're a real bummer. On the other hand, if you get a good monkey, you can play this good monkey to take 2 different actions on your turn rather than just 1. Now, I already mentioned that one of the actions you can do is you can draw a card from the top of the deck. You can also rearrange the display here if you want to, because the display matters. Because when you take a card from the display, you can only take the front card. You can take these cards, but only when you're laying down a set at the same time. So, for example, if I want to lay down a set of 3 and I have 2 browns in my hand, I can grab this front brown card here and play them for my set of 3. These all then move down, and the next card turns over. You can also, for an action, take a tour and put it back in your hand. Now, you'll do that maybe because you've drawn another brown card and you want to play 4. But unlike other rummy games, you cannot add to something that you've put out here. Instead, you have to take it back in your hand and then play all 4. So you will keep doing those actions until one person has the different tours in front of them, and then the game is over. Real quickly, let me show you the cards here are pretty much all the same cards, but they have different artwork on them. And I just want to show you examples of the artwork in the game, because the game itself has some really gorgeous artwork, and so we do not want to gloss over that fact how each and every card has a different look to it. And so players will probably spend a lot of time looking at the cards in their hand and, you know, just admiring them. Except for the wild card is kind of weird looking. But other than that, everything looks really good. Alright, this game has, first of all, great art. Great art. I love it.
I think it's real life art.
No, right. So, I mean, art, I guess, great photography is in this game. The idea of this game, of a tour agency, having different tours to go around and see things, great theming. The gameplay itself is okay, I think. You're just collecting sets of cards, but drawing a card off the top and hoping to get one you need gets really old after a while. You can rearrange the cards, but that doesn't help you because you might be helping the next person in line, and so that's kind of a pain in the neck unless it works out for you, or if you have the good monkeys. What are your thoughts?
I kind of like this game because I liked how you could like use bad monkeys upon other people. Like I put out random cards every once in a while, but after a while, I didn't really like to put out random cards anymore because the bad monkeys always like took them away. So it's a wiser idea to not put out random cards because they're like always taken away. And the wise monkey, like, I forgot what he could do, but it was so fun.
Well, no, he lets you take 2 actions.
Yeah.
You can do 2 actions. They have to be different actions, but you can take 2 of them. The monkeys, for me, almost ruin this game. Because that bad monkey, if you draw a bad monkey in turn, you get no positive benefit. In fact, there's a good chance it will hurt you. And so that's just too lucky for me. To draw that bad monkey, then someone else draws a good monkey. If you draw several bad monkeys and someone else draws several good monkeys, they are probably going to win. The whole thing about collecting sets of cards and playing them is an interesting thing, but essentially it comes down to luck. There is 0 tactics and strategy in this game, practically. I mean, yes, you can choose what to do, but it's just so obvious. I'm going to take a card. Why would you rearrange the cards unless you have the good monkey, which lets you rearrange them and then take the one you need? Or you could rearrange it trying to mess somebody else up, I guess, but that doesn't help you at all, so why are you doing that? You're better off drawing a card. For me, this one is a big bleh. I was not impressed. The artwork is great, the idea is okay, but the execution, those monkeys, I'm just not a fan of games that necessarily have cards in there that go, hey, you know, just smack you around. I would never smack you around, but the game would. Wicked game. Final thoughts? So medium thumb, medium to down. Yeah. Okay. For me, it's just I wasn't impressed by this one. The other games this company has done so far, I've enjoyed, but this one I'm not as impressed with, and that's Kenakalan? Yeah, okay.
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews, as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find the latest board game news at Dicetowernews.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Fun Again Games, the world's best game source. Fun Again Games has over 5,000 games available. Check them out at funagain.com.
Shut the door!